Welcome back, fellow armchair generals. This is Gamer 1745, and we're continuing our version of the Second World War. Playing the United States. Of course, we're playing Hearts of Iron 3 Black Ice. And if you're new here, smash the subscribe button. Everybody, I hope you want to lick the like button. And, hey, post a comment. Tell me that my requesting those things are annoying or something. I don't know. Okay, well, what do I do? What do I do? And those in chat you can post later on, but those in chat, what do I do now here? I have a little bit of extra production capabilities. I don't know really if simply moving more into supply production, which I do think that does affect refining capabilities, but I don't know. So the big question is do I try to increase my forces or do I increase my production? Do I produce more ICs now or do I produce more units? Any thoughts, guys, on Twitch or YouTube? You might need that division headquarters to Portugal to hold the cities you have taken in North Africa. Yeah. Actually, yeah. This division, I was thinking about sending it down to either, down and take out Bissau or, Angola. The reason I would want to do these things is the reason I wanted to conquer here, but because they did not have fuel or supplies, Britain could not supply my units. If I can take out this force, it would, especially before they destroyed a bunch of my other forces, or a bunch of their other forces down here, it would have freed up a bunch of Commonwealth forces. So the AI doesn't handle some of these other fronts well. So I don't know. And you're right, Paul, it may be a good idea to hold here. Now, what I'm sort of kind of hoping is all of these, and I do have that unit holding there. And I do have some of these guys hopefully looking menacing to the AI, and so the AI won't invade. Now, it would be lovely if these Free French forces were to split up and guard the ports. Let's see if the objective system will work at all. Eventually going to get to here, so now let's see if we can get these guys out here a little bit. They got 3 divisions there and 3 divisions there, so if they move a division to each one of those locations, that would be useful. Okay, Lewis and Paul say more units. Okay, more strategic bombers, says Arno. Okay, so more units instead of increasing production. Right, well, I've got a lot of strategic bombers, Arno, so I don't think I need any more of those. I'm just sort of maybe not using them quite as effectively as I should, but I've got a huge amount of strategic bombers, so I'm not going to do the bombers, sorry. Maybe some more non-oil dependent divisions for Africa to free up. Put the French in charge. Well, I don't know if I'm putting them in charge. I'm just hoping they put a division there to help. Okay, so let's see. And I was mainly looking at force transport. Okay, engineers. Yeah, let's do mixed support. There we go. Okay, we'll do a couple of these divisions. Well, you're not wrong with aircraft carriers. I put 2 more battleships and a CV already into production here. Well, no, two CVs in production here after that big loss. So we have 2 carriers and 2 battleships coming. Now, we've got 4 carriers here, and only 3 CAGs on them. I don't remember why or why I don't have another CAG for that. We have over here another 3 CVs, 3 fleet carriers, and have they made it back? Oh, okay. They're maybe already here. Yeah. 3 carriers here. So we'll have 6 carriers in the Pacific right now. These guys got to get, repaired. So, so we have that. Let's see how North Africa goes for a little while, because we're not ready to actually put anything into production at the moment. But we'll see if we can clear up North Africa enough. Hello, Larry T. No, nope, we're not at war with England. This is Hearts of Iron 3, in which things happen mostly historically. So, oh, you're talking about this maybe. This is was designed for the AI, and I totally agree with this. The U.S. didn't have this, big a chunk right out here, but they had bases all over the southeast of England. This, if you don't do this, the American AI will not send bombers over to Europe to try to bomb Germany. So this is just an event that gives this territory over to the U.S., puts in a bunch of air bases and air defenses, a little bit of defensive units to allow, so that the AI sees, oh, there's American territory here. Hey, American territory close enough to bomb Germany. So let's fly over our strategic bombers and bomb Germany. So that's what I guess you're referring to here. So it's sort of an event thing to set up the 8th Air Force here and give it bases, and so that the AI will do it. Obviously, we could put U.S. forces into these air bases. God, these are all filled with fighters and other things. You could be putting U.S. bombers in British air bases and doing the same thing, but this is just sort of a way to deal with the bad AIs that isn't terribly wrong. Oh, you would think, yeah. Yeah, Larry, no, I still think this is the best for a now whether you play 9.1 or 10 or this is Black Ice 11.1 or whatever, or 11.2, I forget exactly. This to me is still the best, though there are improvements in Hoi 4 and improvements in World Ablaze and maybe Black Ice for Hoi 4. But to me, this is still the best grand strategy global World War II game out there. With those caveats, this is the best. For all of its faults, and trust me, if you've watched enough of my videos, you know I bitch and moan about all kinds of things. We're going to not shatter you. I think we have enough other divisions here that are going to push in. So it's not, you can point, well, what about this gamer? Well, I'll probably agree with you if you want to point out some problems, because I definitely see them. So you can have energy, yeah. Negative money. Maybe we'll, okay, twin engine airframe research. spot that will always help a little bit. Well, we're almost to. Not overburden the system. Illusions after victory. Okay. We've taken Tunis. You can move up. Okay, there's a little bit of. Oh. Wait a minute. What? Okay, so we can't come through here. We have to go over this way. Oh, how interesting. Okay. Oh, he was battling there. Oh well, whatever. That wasn't the best move, but whatever. I made a mistake. Yeah, so, you know, Hoi 4 Hoi 4 is close, but it is, I do think this is the best. Okay, so. I'm overrunning whatever forces that may be here. Okay, you come down that way. So you fall back again. Sorry, British Army, we're not going to be able to stay and support you. Oh, and stability has increased incredibly. It's not perfect, and I'll very much admit the more sub-mods you add to it, the more unstable it gets. Though with just Third Reich events, it's still fairly stable. But yeah, stability has increased incredibly. And you can, either my earlier rants today about some of the stuff, the way they're changing for the latest version of Black Ice that I don't like. And I'm thinking about changing stuff back if I ever really get to actually modding again. Because I have the older versions and I can just go in and figure out what they changed and re-put it back. Resistance support. Okay. Yeah, we'll continue that, I guess. Light cruiser crew training. That'd be over here, and where is it? There. I think I've really only had crashes because of I'm recording and streaming at the same time while playing, and pausing for a long time and talking and then going on, or other things like that. I'm putting additional stress on the system. So I think the few crashes that I have had playing this particular version without the mods, without the sub mods. Now the sub mods, like I say, is getting a little bit more iffy, but again, mostly I'm playing with streaming and recording and whatnot. That does does add stress to your system. So it is not perfect. So if you need a game with 0 crashes, no, this isn't it. But it is mostly stable, or a little bit more than that. Yeah, well, and of course you need the sort of, all of the 3 main sub mods for the Motherland, Their Finest Hour, and Semper Fi. You don't need the other DLCs, whether the Gata Damarung or the cosmetic ones. You don't need those. And they've also gone in and I can't really show you, but easily with this. But they have there's an actual additional pop-up window with this game that one of the things you do with it is you go in and it goes in and actively removes all of the sprites from the game. And saves it out that way, and a few other things to be able to deal with that they didn't do a pop-up window you see here. So you alt tab over to it or whatever to get to it. But by getting rid of the sprites and just for the counters, that increases stability. So and since black ice, you can't really use the sprites with black ice. Oh boy, okay, off the coast of Cadiz, out here, we sunk a Bulgarian light cruiser and 2 liners, I guess, with our fleet. Now, I don't know how they got here. Well, I guess they probably came out of the Mediterranean and sailed all the way around up to here, because we control holding both Tunis, or not Tunis, Tangiers and Gibraltar closes the straits to them, I do believe. So since we fought them out here, I think they came all the way around. Why the hell for, I guess, other than, I don't know, planning on invading Britain? But Bulgaria sent its fleet out, and we just sunk some of it. You're giving them, no, we don't want to buy more supplies. Let's make sure. Okay, we're now into the positive again, but let's look. We got more than enough supplies, so let's make sure we're not importing any supplies. We don't need supplies. I don't know, some of these I think I did just to make sure that maybe they were making some money. Well, let's get rid of Cuba. Like Australia, okay, Costa Rica, we don't need supplies. Guatemala, yeah, we don't need any supplies, so let's spend this. Now they may be buying steel from us, but with that money. But if we're not buying supplies from them, we don't, it will balance out for a positive. We're importing fuel, good, because we have our god-awful fuel situation here that, again, I think is bad, wrong, not helpful. Okay. So we'll import fuel, but no supplies from these. I'm leaving Australia and New Zealand just because maybe it's helping their economy to buy resources that they need. Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. I don't know enough. I didn't say anything when I saw it pop up. But do realize a light cruiser, they might have had a light cruiser. They might have. Not all light cruisers are equal. And it might just sort of kind of be a big destroyer, you know, guns just big enough that are no longer destroyers. And it might be even sort of leftover World War I something. So I don't know, Arno, on that. Yeah, I hear you, Lewis, about the sprites. And so, yeah, so they auto-remove the, or you run a routine and it scrubs them from the game and other things to make the game more stable. And so if you're playing 9-1, it's somewhat stable. But if you play 10 or 11, it is even more stable. And it's just because with, you know, I complain about the money situation. Money, as I understand the envision of this game and the way I understand the way the war works in real history, money is not a question of domestic. Like, do we have enough to pay our troops? Fuck it, they'll just print the money, whether it's Britain, Germany, or whatever else, and then they'll just put price controls and rationing so that the soldiers have money, but they can't spend it on anything. And to keep inflation from happening, you know, it's either rationing or price controls, so they just put it in the bank or whatever. Or in the U.S. particularly, what they're doing is buy war bonds. So it's government money machine goes brr and spews out all kinds of money. Workers get paid all kinds of money, but since they're making combat boots and not ladies' shoes in the factory. There are ladies. You can buy ladies' shoes in America at least, and in Germany they still do that to some degree, but it's limited in the amount that you can buy. But instead of buying a big collection of ladies' shoes or something, since all the factories are making, like I say, combat boots or whatever, they go out and buy war bonds. I really truly believe the main war bond effort is a way to suck up all that money that people are making that can't go buy a car. Well, because there's fuel rationing. Fuel rationing doesn't really have anything to do with fuel. It has to do with the rubber. But neither mind. But yeah, you can buy a used car, but then there's fuel rationing, so there's not necessarily too many places to drive, and obviously there's no new cars being made, so that people would be with these jobs in America buying these things. So to keep that money from creating inflation and forcing more rationing or price controls, they are pushing to buy war bonds to get a return on your money, but paid after the war. And there is rationing in America, but it's not heavy. And it's like my dad still has a basic preference for margarine, which is a synthetic butter, because he grew up during the war as a kid, and that's what was common, was margarine instead of butter, because butter was either hard to get or rationed or whatever. So I sort of grew up because in the household having margarine because that's what he liked. But I prefer butter. So I did get enough other butter, but there really wasn't a significant lack of things like food and basic staple foods in America. I'm not saying there wasn't rationing, because I don't know all the details, and I know there was some, and I'm not saying certain things weren't scarce, but it was nothing like Britain or the continent of Europe when it comes to things like butter or beef or chicken or whatever. There was plenty of that around, at least for a basic level of stuff. It just, so I totally disagree with money on a domestic concept here. What money is a means of exchange between nations. And so whenever I organize it, and so I've gotten rid of, the army needs money. No, I've gotten rid of all of those with Third Reich events. I've turned those off, basically. They're still there, but they don't happen. So if somebody wanted to re-enable them, it would be perfectly easy if they want to and whatnot. But I've disabled them. Like they say, they're still there, but they don't fire or do anything. So it is somewhat becoming more my version of what's going on. Okay, Battlefleet Concentration Doctrine. And I'll check out Beam Slam here in just a moment. Okay. Let's come up here and get naval bomb prototypes into development here. Do we have more technology to research? No, yeah, a little bit. Okay, and we'll do medium bombers. Okay, World in Flames, the digital version. All ships have the stats and ships in history note for every ship. Quite interesting to read sometimes. Yes, I definitely remember as, kid might be, a young man, seeing people at game conventions playing World in Flames, the big wall-mounted version. Really cool. Never had a space big enough to play it or the money to spend on it. The biggest problem that I see with World in Flames is there's no AI, and I probably could set up enough and learn the game and set up enough to have opponents. The other thing I think, again, this is more of an I think, is maybe a little more rigid of a game to history. You don't, again, I rail against the over fantasy of Hawaii 4, but I like this sort of, maybe Spain or Portugal. And I talked about conditions. Was it last weekend or the weekend before? Spain or Portugal might have joined the Axis. not these conditions, but some conditions that might have happened. And there, I would put, Turkey does get into World War II. If you guys don't know, they join a side. I forget the exact date, but they joined the Allies. But they don't, to the best of my knowledge, really invade Bulgaria. And I think the only reason they really joined the Allies is to make sure the Soviet Union doesn't invade them. So they really didn't want to go into the war at all. And they joined the Allies. Just, they do join the Anti-Comintern Pact, the second version of it, but they never actively, go to war against the communists. So in my opinion, you sort of have to have Axis control of all of the Mediterranean and pushed, sort of like down here, and, control of Moscow and Stalingrad and this whole area. Then maybe Turkey would join the Axis. Otherwise Turkey is staying out. So either there's, U.S. Army divisions moving, so it's like late 44 or early 45 they join. I forget what. But, Italy out of the war, U.S. coming in, Soviets pushing here, that's when they'll join the Allies. So otherwise they stay out. So I want realistic type things. Now I do have some events that sort of make Turkey a little more friendly to the Axis because Germany's pushing on them, and working on it. But that doesn't mean that they join the Axis, So I want a plausible game that alters from history, not a wacky game that adds basically the board game, even the digital version, but save space. Absolutely. Turkey won at Thessalonica. Yeah, Turkey. Well, yeah, but Britain wasn't going to let them have it. Italy wasn't going to let them have it. There's a lot of leading up to World War II. I don't know if a lot's maybe the right term, but there is some definite Turkish anti-Italian propaganda going on. Italy and Turkey do not like each other. And between Italy's goal for, a new Roman Empire, which may or may not include Turkey, and whatnot. Let alone, Cyprus, French, Syria, or whatever. Give them money for fuel, yes. Give them money for fuel, yes. Yes, Beamflam, it is difficult to compare something like World in Flames to true digital game. That's why I still like this the best. I mean, with all of its faults, like with this fucking fuel situation here. That yes, I can solve this with a mod. Now I can't just go in and mod this game. I guess I could go in and change the save game, but they've maybe made that a little more difficult. But I could, start a new game and make a mod that once a month spams in fuel for America once it gets to the war, or I could play around a little bit and try to make the converting of oil to fuel, super more effective for America, or do a combination of those things and fix this. So this is a fixable thing for America. And you have the same problem with Germany, but the problem with Germany is if you give them too much fuel, wow, 39, I don't know how we're getting this intel, but 39 aircraft units here in Berlin. Well, interesting. Okay, the problem is if you spam in too much fuel for Germany, you're not showing Germany's true limitations of fuel situation. Where America, yes, America was starving for fuel at the front, but it was never starving for fuel back here. So it's the amount of shipping to get fuel places, which for here it's, these convoys, do we have enough convoys? And then it's how good the ports are. I mean, so maybe you have plenty of convoy ships, can move fuel theoretically to Britain or whatever, but if you're holding, messed up ports that can't receive the supply and you're dumping in too many units, yes, then you have fuel problems for America. I'm not going to suggest you don't. You guys can start walking that way. You come over here to occupy. You come over here to occupy. You come up to here. Look bad and threatening. And Eisenhower, I thought, was over the Philippines, but I don't know. Okay. So, twin engine research. Let's move that to here. Okay, now we can produce more things. So what we're trying to do is get some divisions that are not too fuel dependent for America to be able to help in North Africa and hold the coast from possible counter invasions. You know what? Okay, another thing what we're going to do here is it is shown to be very, very effective. These only take a few days to build. Let's do 20. What we're going to do is we're going to move all of these to the bottom. And we're going to spam in motor torpedo boats. And these motor torpedo boats either are going to go to the Pacific or sit out, sort of like we have doing here, and guard the coast along here with, patrols of motor torpedo boats, instead of trying to overly garrison. I'm not saying we're not going to garrison at all, but instead of trying to heavily garrison, at least, the ports. Argentina, no. Trade with Argentina. Okay. Submarine damage control advance, very nice. Okay, that's grayed out. And yeah, I'd make some events that spam out, or just go back and get the events that spam out the ICs for American black ice. Medium artillery or medium tank. Okay, grayed out. Doing some of these other research. Look at infrastructure levels. Okay, that's down at 2, so we can go to there. That's down, so we can't go to there. You come down just to sort of occupy that. Regime change. Iraq is now a puppet of the Comintern. How the hell did that happen? That's why I don't need that. That sucks. I'd rather have it British controlled. Oh God, because the Comintern needs the Soviets need to focus on Germany, not Africa. Okay, trade money for supplies. No. We don't need supplies. We need fuel though. We'll take fuel. Oh. I don't know how that happened. We've lost the effects of the Persian Gulf because we've lost this. See, that's... Well, they're... No, I think fleet killers, motor torpedo boats equal fleet killers. We have completely here, we have stopped any invasions, any movement with these two units. One is patrolling, one is just sitting here, and they are working excellently. So we're not talking speed bumps. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if it gets wacky enough, I'm going to quit this just because of things. And I don't know whether go and try to play some Hoi 4 with the new DLC. I haven't even gotten it yet, or something else. I don't know. I know with this playthrough we have not been looking too much here because we're just letting these guys get rebuilt here. There should be plenty of port space here, getting them up. Dam buster bomb, nice. Bomb, okay, yeah, we'll do tall boy. So yeah, no, I'm actually thinking effective control with the coastally with the motor torpedo boats, not speed bumps. You know, stopping them dead in their tracks. That. Sort of kind of banking on the Axis don't really have the ability to invade at the moment, but they have made worse decisions already in this game than that. Okay, another submarine down. Ecuador will no longer receive fuel for money. Okay, well, I was liking the fuel. Okay, medium tank destroyers. Okay, good. Yeah, we'll let that continue. Fire control training systems, those are nice, especially if I still had a fleet for you to use them. I still have some fleet units, but not like I used to. Where? Okay, well, I guess it's 44, so we'll let that continue. And light armor designs have improved. Okay, so let's go with armor plate thickness. Now, before Arno asks, let's take a look at what currently. Okay, still the Pershing, which don't overly fixate on what the models are, but we're seeing what they are. M5 Stuart. Well, that's the M5 Stuart. Maybe is 43 is not too wacky, but yeah, all right. In fact, this headquarters unit. Something get to pull. Oh, we got another Robert E. Lee division. I don't think they'd do a Robert E. Lee division. Definitely they wouldn't have done a Jefferson division. It was mostly the British giving out Confederate names to tanks and whatnot, not the... And the U.S. sort of, I don't know if reluctantly, well, reluctantly maybe, mainly not so much in the political dimension, but in, they would rather have it, the M4 A3 medium, or tank medium A43, you know, as their really cool, a creative name for the Sherman. But the British go, let's call it, oh, I don't know, after General Sherman and General Stewart and General Grant and General Lee, and you know, so yeah, it's the British know how to name things. The American military wanted everything. Yeah, Pershing tanks lead the way. Yeah, that would be good. So yeah, okay. Okay, so production. We've put in 20 motor torpedo boats. We have some light cruisers coming, a couple of heavy cruisers coming, some CVs. A lot of more carrier aircraft to either use on carriers or land base. More patrol planes to put out in the Pacific or the Atlantic, and some more CVLs. We've just got through a bunch of destroyers, but that probably means we need more destroyers. So let's do, no, not 20. That would be historically. No, historically, let's put out 40. I'm serious. Yeah, if this was anywhere near historical, U.S. would be so much better off. But yeah, I don't know. Yes, you can get money for fuel. Okay, air defense networks. Okay, let's take a look. Is that under artillery here? Yeah, 1940. Yeah, we'll let this continue. It does reduce down our manpower, but it seems to be plenty of manpower. I mean, something may happen. Supply production. Well, that does affect overall production, but I don't think that's going to be too much of a problem. So yeah, a organization, radar efficiency, provincial A efficiency, radar combat impact, you know, all those things are good. Repair rate. So heavy artillery brigades advance. Well, we may own a few, but we haven't really built any. Meaning events may have given us some. And like self-propelled AA, which the U.S. definitely did do, but mostly found unnecessary because they controlled the skies. Okay, we won, so now we should be attached to an HQ. Where are you? You're way back here. Okay, well. Huh? Oh, wow! I did not realize this happened. I don't know when it happened. But France has given me its units. Okay, well. As long as they don't take them back. Now, these are just light infantry, true. But still. Okay, we'll leave one there. We'll leave one there. So we'll... Okay, and you know, in rough terrain, these would be useful in that they don't take up... I mean, they have French trucks, so they take up some fuel. But, let's send one of these. Well, okay, where are the... Going there and there. Okay, well, what? We don't need that. We're going to move you up to Tunis. Can they grow mustaches? Well, I'm sure. Yeah, so we're gonna put the French here. Well, that will allow us to move this division up here, which is a more sort of division. Well, if my transatlantic convoys would work better, we could get more HQs for it. I know we can just create them locally, but we need some more units. Okay. Moment. Cruiser. I'm going to save this before the first of the year, which is coming up very soon here. And I think we're going to end the episode, not the live stream, but the episode here. I want to thank you all so much. See you next time for more, yes, more Hearts of Iron.